already know I'm gonna struggle with the other video. Like, my book just went. Honestly, it's so hard to film at like 2 in the morning because my brain's not working. Hi friends, and welcome to another reading vlog. This week I'm going to be dedicating most of the reading vlog to Not in Love by Miss Ali Hazelwood. As I have mentioned in my previous videos, this is probably my most anticipated read of the year, just simply because Ali Hazelwood got me back into reading, and when I heard about this book being released, it just felt like it was the book for me. The tropes, the character dynamics, everything just seemed spot on with what I would enjoy in a book. You already know, once I found out about this book, I had to pre-order it immediately, and I just picked it up from the bookstore. Today is release day, and I'm so excited to show you guys my book haul because yes, did I go there just anticipating on picking up the book that I pre-ordered? Yes. But did I pick up other books while I was there? Also yes. So we're starting off this video super strong with a small book haul, and let's get right into it. So let me show you my little book haul stack. It is this cute little stack right here. We have 3 books and 1 manga. So let's talk about the book of the hour, which is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I pre-ordered this at my local bookstore, and look at what I received: a signed copy and an independent bookstore edition. I don't really know what this exclusive edition entails for the independent bookstore version, but I will be going to Target and checking out what the differences are. But I still can't get over the fact that I got a signed copy of this book. Like, are you serious? When I initially purchased this, I just purchased this on my bookstore's website, pre-ordered it, forgot about it for, I don't know, 5 months until this month came around. I was like, oh yeah, this book is coming out. And then I find out I get a signed copy from my local bookstore. I cannot be more happy that I supported my local bookstore because I bought this, didn't expect to get a signed copy, and I got a signed copy. So this just makes me love my local bookstore even more. Something that is a little bit different from her previous work is that this book includes artwork of the 2 main characters, and this book is dual POV, which is very different from her previous work. So I absolutely cannot wait to see how Ali Hazelwood writes in the male perspective. Moving on to the next book is The Seventh Loop Villainous. This is the first volume of the entire manga series that has been published, and it is the only book that I have been missing from my collection, so I figured it was a good time as any to pick it up and complete my collection of some sort. I was also lucky enough to see that there were copies of Yours Truly at my local bookstore. I believe this is one of the only 2 copies available at the store, and I was so happy. I love this book. I recently read it, I want to say like the first week of June, ate it up. I read all of it within 2 days. It's so good. I don't know how I'm gonna get over Jacob and Bree because right now in the Abby Jimenez world, they are absolutely my favorite characters. Have I only read 2 books from Abby Jimenez? Yes. I was actually on top of visiting my local bookstore. I was also going to go return my Yours Truly copy from the library, and I was thinking to myself that I really love Yours Truly, so I had to pick up a physical copy of the book just so I can annotate it, especially since it's so fresh on my mind. I love Bree and Jacob. They are probably going to be my favorite couple of the Abby Jimenez world, which is saying a lot since this is technically the second book I read from her, but I don't know, man, just something about Jacob's awkwardness and Bree's boldness. I love that. So I absolutely cannot wait to try to annotate this before it all goes and disappear from my mind because I really enjoyed reading this book. Last, but definitely not least, is the Abby Jimenez Just for the Summer book. I don't know how this is going to top Yours Truly. You've just heard me talk about how much I enjoyed Yours Truly, but I had to pick up a physical copy of this because my library queue is not getting any shorter, and I think it's been almost 2 months since I put myself on the waitlist for this. So I figured, hey, I really enjoyed the other 2 books. I might as well just pick up a physical copy of this book and index it, tab it, do whatever I want to it. So I'm really excited to get started on this book. I don't know when I'll be reading this. I have a pretty full month for the month of June, and I really want to play a TBR game for the month of July. So I'm not really sure how this is going to go, but this is probably going to be a summer read for sure. So hopefully I'll be able to get around to it by the end of July/August. Speaking of games, I think I mentioned this in my June TBR, is that I really want to try doing a board game for the month of July and maybe going forward, especially since I have a really long TBR list. So I have actually finished planning and mapping out my game. I think I'm going to base it off Monopoly, as some of the videos that I've seen on YouTube. So yes, I have a lot of things already planned out and I actually just need to put it all together. So let me show you the rough draft of the board for my TBR board game. So I use black cardstock paper. So you can see that these little squares are going to have individual prompts on them. There will be a start, a jail, and a free pick. I am probably going to work on this during this vlog as well, so we'll have some footage of that. I'm just really excited because I saw the TBR board games and they all look super fun, and it's a way for me to actually tackle my TBRs along with expanding my reading range. So I'm really excited about that. And for now, I'm just gonna wrap up this part of the video. I do have to read the Percy Jackson Sea of Monsters before I actually get to Not in Love, because I promised my husband that it is going to be my first priority after my library books. So I'm gonna try to power through that book tonight and tomorrow and then get started on Not in Love ASAP. I also need to film the video that's coming up this Sunday, not the Sunday for this video, but this Sunday is going to be ranking all of my Ali Hazelwood books. So by the time you've watched this video, it should already be up. So my plate is kind of heavy right now. And with that, I will catch you in the next reading clip. My fan's really loud, so I'm gonna go turn it off. Hi, hello. It has been a whole week since the last update. I believe the last time I filmed this update was on Tuesday, and then today is Tuesday the following week. So it's been a long week. It's been a heat wave like week. I think I got a little bit of reading here and there, but not too much. I know I said that in the previous clip I needed to finish the Sea of Monsters. It's been a whole week and I am like not even halfway through. This is like a quarter of the way through. I just started it yesterday, so hopefully I could power through most of it today or tomorrow and then get started on Not in Love. This past week I've just been so lazy. Like the heat wave just sucked all the energy out of me. I think I even published a video late. It came up today, even though usually I publish it on Sunday, and it's mainly because I did not even get around to editing it until Sunday night. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just a lazy couch potato, bed rotting, all that good stuff. And you know what? Sometimes we just need a little mental reset, especially when it's super hot. So I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, I just wanted this channel to be super casual, something fun for me to do. So I'm really glad that I kind of got over that stress and that hurdle of like I need to publish a video on time every week. Like it's not that big of a deal, right? So my goal for this week is to finish Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Then I'm gonna go into Not in Love and hopefully finish that. I feel like this month will be a pretty slow month. Actually, no, it's not going to be a slow month because I binge read Villains Are Destined to Die. So Villains Are Destined to Die is a manhwa recommended to me by another YouTuber named Love Lauren. I'll have her information somewhere on the screen. But basically, she recommended this to me sometime last month, I believe, and I finally got around to picking up and reading it. Since I have a lot of physical books this time around, I figured, hey, I'll just read a manhwa because I could read it on my phone pretty easily. I got so hooked. I devoured that in 2 or 3 days. Like, I stayed up and I non-stop read and caught up to the current newest release of the manhwa. And then I was like, I can't, because the manhwa is currently on a cliffhanger right now. We're at the climax of the story. And the manhwa is based off of a Korean novel. So I purchased the Korean novel, like the rest of it, and finished it all within like a week. And that Korean novel, I believe, is approximately, like, from where I left off to the ending is about 500 pages. So I wouldn't say I didn't read at all last week. I read a lot actually, but it was just not something that was on my TBR, which is pretty funny. I thought I was just gonna casually read the manhwa on the side, and then whenever I have downtime I'll actually pick up the physical book. But no, that manhwa got me so hooked into it that I basically threw everything out of the window and just sat on my couch for hours and just finished reading it, and then continued on with the novel. And oh, it was so good. It was a 5-star read. I highly recommend it. It's a very good and different kind of manhwa, but one of the characters, Derek, her stepbrother, I hate Derek. We all hate Derek in this household, okay? I hate him so much. Like, the whole time I was reading it, because my husband has already read it and is actually up to date with it, aside from the novel, whatever is left over at the novel. I'm someone who doesn't care about spoilers, but he doesn't like spoilers, and I have to keep telling him, like, I hate Derek so much because I can't tell him why I hate him, right? Like, he already doesn't like Derek because Derek's basically a really shitty character to begin with, but the ending just made it like so much worse. So I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of like my current update. So now I'm just gonna go and try to finish up this book. I started doing annotating or tabbing. I got like these little tabs off of Amazon. They're pretty cute. I'm matching them with the book covers, basically anything plot relevant or anything that I think is interesting. I don't think there will be too many tabs for the Percy Jackson series, just because I feel like I would mark down more romance quotes and stuff like that, but I still have a couple of moments in here that I thought was pretty interesting, so I already have like 4 tabs in place. And with that, I'm just gonna end this clip, and I will see you guys hopefully a lot sooner than last time. I finished the book, so that means I can get going to read the Not in Love now. It's only Wednesday, so I have about 3 or 4 days to finish Not in Love, and I'm super excited. My camera's about to die, which makes it perfect timing. We ended on a cliffhanger for the Percy Jackson series. I'll probably rate this closer to a 4. I don't think I enjoyed this as much as I did the first book, but it was still a pretty solid read. So I just picked up the sticky tabs that matches the book for parts of the book that I want to annotate and tab up, but I'm not really feeling like reading the book. I just spent about the last 2 hours or so finishing up Percy Jackson, and since it is nearing kind of like the end of the month, I have my board. My book just went down under. So I was thinking I can just set up the board and I can play the TBR game sometime this month. I'm not really sure if I'll enjoy TBRs, to be honest, because this month is supposed to be my physical book TBRs, but I have very minimal willpower to read right now. I'm kind of like in a reading slump, but I'm pushing myself to kind of go through all of my books. am actually enjoying this book a lot more than I thought I would, considering how I saw some people didn't really like it. I can kind of see why people wouldn't like it, but I'm kind of, oh, it's kind of hitting the right spot. It's pretty funny. It has my dry sense of humor, and I am thoroughly enjoying this book as of right now. But I'm only 125 pages into the book. Yes, we got to the first official smut scene, and I think it's pretty funny. Hello, I just came back from my local bookstore and the library, and these are the two books I got at the library slash the bookstore. I'm super excited. Let's talk about the first one, which I said that there wasn't going to be more reviews on it in my monthly wrap up, but it is the seventh loop Villains. I literally said that it won't be in my reading vlogs or the monthly wrap up anytime soon because I think the next book in the novel comes out in August. But I forgot about the manga. I ordered this like so long ago, and this one just came out pretty recently. So went to my local bookstore and picked it up. I am so excited because honestly, I'm obsessed with the artwork and I'm obsessed with how Arnold looks in this manga. Let me try to find an image of him. Like, is he just not the prettiest, handsomest boy? Like, I love my dark hair, edgy boy. Like, honestly, the anime did him wrong. He looks like a freaking sack of potatoes in the anime. So I am really excited to have gotten my hand on this. I totally forgot about it. So I probably will finish this book up during this reading vlog since it's a manga. I devour them pretty fast. So there's this. This is the first thing I got. The second book I got from the library that just came off of hold for me is The Wicked King, and I'm really excited to get started on it. I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with Chris from Chronically D. I'll have her information somewhere on the screen as always. And I'm really excited because we left The Cruel Prince on a very like cliffhanger-esque point of the book. From what I hear, it only goes up from there. So people say that The Wicked King is their favorite book by far in the series. So I'm really excited to see what I think about it. I think it would probably be my favorite one as well, especially since I think this is when the romance really starts to pick up. At least that's what I'm thinking, or at least that is what I'm hoping will happen, but we'll have to see. I'm really excited about this. Chris, by the time you've seen this video, I would have probably already messaged you, I believe. I don't know. This is for future Mimi to reference, but you'll probably know about this and we can decide when to read it and whether to include it in our June or our July reading. Let's talk about the star of the show, which is Not in Love. I am currently about 3/4 of the way through the book, and as you can see here, I have also extensively tabbed it up because I am eating this book up. I'm really, really enjoying this. I think it might be a 5-star read for me. I don't know. I have about this much left on the book. I haven't really gotten to the climax of the book yet. I can kind of guess where it's going, but I don't know. I really enjoy every aspect about this book. This book is definitely extremely different from Ali Hazelwood's other work. So to preface, I am looking at Goodreads review, and before this book officially came out with arcs and people's reviews of it, just based on their expectation of Ali Hazelwood, it has been very close to a 5-star read. But as the week progressed, it slowly trickled down, and I believe it is currently at a 3.9 or 3.8. And I was really, really scared going into this book because I saw all the low reviews. And some of my trusted YouTubers that I watch, they gave this book 3 stars. and I was so scared because I know that they liked the other book as well. But I'm kind of glad that they didn't talk about why they didn't like it and allowed me to get my own opinions. With Goodreads, I don't read the reviews until I finish the book so I can make my own opinions on it. But I don't mind spoilers. Like, I'm one of those people who don't really mind spoilers, but the two YouTubers that I talked about didn't really give an explanation yet. They just said that it was a very different kind of vibe that they got from the book and it wasn't what they were expecting, which 100% I agree. Miss Ali Hazelwood, this is like a completely left field from the kind of genre you normally write. It is still romance, but this romance reads more like an erotic romance. And to be fair, she does preface it at the very beginning of the book, saying that think of it less of a rom-com and more of an erotic romance. And I think it is 100% true. So if you came in expecting the fluff that you see in The Love Hypothesis or Love Theoretically, the ones that got you kicking and screaming and just thinking how cute it is, you will not get that in this book. Instead, you get this intense, burning romance that is very hardcore. So when people say this is her smuttiest book yet, I 100% agree. I've read Bride, and while Bride has the weird anatomy that we're not used to, Not in Love has the intense scenes that would bump this from I want to say like a 2-star romance spicy pepper rating to probably a 3 or 3.5. Is it 4-star? I actually don't know where my lines are drawn between the spice, whether it's like a 3 pepper or a 4 pepper or a 5 pepper. Like 5 pepper, it has to be like insane. Like it has to be haunting Adeline in terms of like the scope of intensity, right? But I would say this is probably like 3 and a 3.5. So I can see why people who come in unexpectedly read this expecting fluff, it could be very different. I would say the best way I can describe this book is with this. 1 second. So the best way I could think about when comparing her old writing to the new writing genre that she has, while both of them are romance books, they are completely different. And let me show you why. Because if you are a fan of Abby Jimenez, you might not necessarily be a fan of Anna Huang's writing. Am I right? So for me, I'm someone who enjoy both Anna Huang's writing and Abby Jimenez. I can enjoy the realism and the fluff and the slight spice in Abby Jimenez, but I can also enjoy the intense, burning tension relationship that Anna Huang writes. So Not in Love definitely reads more like an Anna Huang style of books, and I know that a lot of people don't really like this intense burning style sometimes. Some people might enjoy their gradual fluff romance where there's a lot of character depth and build on and romantic scenes leading up to the intimate relations. But in Not in Love, we kind of jump into the deep end right away, which is what I would think is the reason why the rating is a little bit lower. Just to preface, I did not actually read the reviews on Goodreads. I'm just guessing this is why it's getting a lower rating than it normally would, because it reads more on par with what Anna Huang would normally write. So it might not be what people are expecting. But this is not to say that their opinions aren't valid. I think this is when an author tries out a new genre. This is something she should expect, that people might not enjoy it or like it because it's a different genre than what they pre-ordered, what they are expecting out of her. It's not to say that she can't do it. It's just that sometimes when people pre-order books, they have a set amount of expectation in mind, and this might not have met their expectation. And that's just what I think. Personally, for me, I read, like I said, I read Anna Huang, and then I read stuff like Abby Jimenez. In terms of romance, I can go anywhere. We can go super dark, or we can go super fluffy and light for me. That's probably why I'm really okay with this book. I'm really enjoying it. In fact, because I've been reading so much YA recently, this is a refreshing palate cleanser. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm just gonna ignore that comment. We're almost done with the book. I will update you guys once I have completed it and let you guys know what my full thoughts are on it. So far, it's very spicy and tension-filled with a lot of drama, and I'm enjoying it. That's all I can say. My next update will probably be when I complete the book, and I will let you guys know my full thought process on what my actual review is for Not in Love. But at the moment, 3/4 of the way through, I am giving it 5 stars because the spice is spicy and the tension is super tension, and the little bits and pieces of sciencey drama is also really interesting to me because it has to do with corporate takeover and shady business deal practices, etc. So I'm kind of invested. I always love my billionaire type of romances as well, so this seemed like right up my alley for the kind of books that I would read. Did I expect Miss Ali Hazelwood to write something like this? Absolutely not. Did I enjoy it anyway? Yes. So with that, I will catch you in the next clip once I finish this book. finished the book, and I think it's pretty good. I would rate it for vibes and moods alone to be a 5-star. I could see where the plot kind of is whatever. The plot could be like, if I had to take this as a story and if I was in more of like her typical romance books where I'm looking for fluff, I'm looking for cutesy, kicking my feet moments, I would definitely rate this a lot lower. Would probably between a 3 and a 4. But like I said in the previous update, I was kind of like in the mood for this, so I thoroughly enjoyed this. Mood vibes all alone, it is a solid 5 stars for me, so that's what I'm gonna give it. It is definitely extremely spicy. Jesse on YouTube basically said that the beginning really felt like a true Ali Hazelwood book, and I can see that. I have like a lot of funny tabbed moment in the beginning and then a little bit of plot, but by the middle to the end it was mostly plot and just pure smut. The romance between these two do seem a little bit superficial. We don't really see that growth and the time spent together aside from, you know, the smut scenes. So I can see why people who pre-ordered this book and expected the book to be fluff, cute, kicking and screaming kind of mode would be severely disappointed. I can totally see that, but overall I still think this is a solid read, so I'm giving it 5 stars. I do have one more book I'm gonna try to finish, which is the manga that I picked up in like one of my previous clips, so I'm gonna try to finish that and finish up my board. I do want to print out TBR cards so I can get to playing the TBR board game next month, and I will catch you guys at the end for a quick wrap up. I'm not gonna do a full deep dive wrap up like I normally do. I don't think it's really necessary, especially given that I gave a lot of updates throughout the reading journey, but I'll still do like a quick wrap up with all the books I read for the week, or I guess the past 2 weeks, what I gave it and the spice rating. I think this is like the only spicy book I've read in the past 2+ week, I think. So I haven't really picked up any books that were really heavily focused on like the more physical aspect of romance. So this is a good kind of different read, and that's probably why I was in the mood for it. It just felt like a different pace. Definitely a big palate cleanser. I read book 1 and book 2 of the companion novel series, so that is Part of Your World and Yours Truly. I read those 2 at the beginning of the month, and I purchased Yours Truly because I really love Jacob. I love how socially awkward he is. Her characters are just so dynamic and true, and I love kind of like the intricacy of the relationship she builds. And I hear that Just for the Summer is just as good, if not more, so I'm really excited for it, especially since this book was so romance heavy in terms of physical attraction. I like to pace out my reading, so sometimes I like to read books with more fantasy aspects, sometimes I like to read books with more aspects of physical attraction, and then Just for the Summer is probably more of relationship attraction with a lot of kicking, screaming, cute moment. Hopefully, I know that there's supposed to be some emotional and heart-wrenching moments in Just for the Summer, so I'm also looking forward to that. And yeah, I'm just gonna close off this part of the vlog. I will catch you guys back up for maybe a full review of this and all the books I read for the week, and yeah. So it is currently 2 a.m. Am I a little bit delirious right now? Yes. Will I be even worse after I finish editing this video and uploading it? Definitely. I think by the time that I finish everything I need to do, it will have been already like 4 or 5 p.m. As you guys can see in the background, I actually finished editing 90% of the video already. I just need to finish this filming session, edit this session, and then upload it, and I should be good to go. Without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into it since I really want to make the wrap up super short. Something that I tried to do this time around was to actually include my thoughts and opinions with actual updates throughout the vlog. I feel like previously I didn't really do that, and I think that's why my ending gets a little bit convoluted and long. So just gonna do super quick rapid fire of everything I read, my review on it, my thoughts on it, and all of that good stuff. First things first, an unexpected read for me is the manhwa Villains Are Destined to Die. I talked about this already previously, but basically this is a solid 5 stars for the manhwa and where it is currently at. I did finish the novel for it, and I give the novel, basically anything not including these special stories, a solid 5 star. I think the main story and the main plot for Villains Are Destined to Die is so good. It's so spectacular. It's very solid, and all the characters are just beautifully written. The characters are so well flawed that you both hate them but love how well the author has written them for you to dislike them. One thing though is that after reading the side stories, I did feel the need to bump down the rating from a 5 star to a 4.25 stars, but I'm actually not going to count it against the main story, since the main story is probably like, it's approximately 1500 pages, and I think the side stories is only like 300 pages or so, so I'm not going to count it too hard against it. Like I said, the novel, the completed novel itself, is a solid 5 stars. The special stories, basically the after chapters of the main story slash epilogues, they just weren't for me. I felt like the author really wanted to wrap up all the ending trails of all the characters that he or she introduced, and that created a lot of convolutedness and unnecessary drama. Also, a slight spoiler, but this spoiler doesn't really do anything with the book and the whole plot, is the fact that when she gives birth to a child with wings. That's it. That's all we get to it. Yes, there is magic in this universe, but as far as we know, nobody has like anatomy that is different than regular human, and all of a sudden she gives birth to a child with wings, and that's it. There is no other extra story about it. You get one chapter basically about her child, and not even really her child, it's just the fact that she gives birth, she worries about her kid, and oh, by the way, she has wings. That was just crazy to me. I was shook. That's probably another reason why I bumped it down. Like I said, I felt like the author had a lot of ideas for the main plot, and maybe they had an editor, and the editor's like, hold up, let's reel it in. So main story plot, amazing, great, spectacular. The side stories slash epilogues got a little bit weird, but you know what? I'm not gonna hold it against the main story. I would still recommend it to anybody who's looking for a manhwa dealing with villainous and something just a little bit different. Next book is an extremely overdue book on my end, and it is the Percy Jackson's The Sea of Monsters. This is a book that I promised my husband I would get to ASAP. Did I get to it ASAP for the month of June? Not necessarily, but I finished it this week. And personally for me, I gave this book a 4 stars. It was not as good as the first book. And the reason for that is that this book reads a lot like a filler episode. Like if you ever watch TV shows or a series, there are like episodes that just feel like it's a little bit disconnected. It's just a lot of adventure and fun time, but you can't really see the overarching plot where this episode would be relevant to it. That's what this book read like to me. However, at the end, the author does tie everything together with the occurrence of a new character that was only made possible because of the adventure that Percy and his friends went on in this book. So overall, not a bad book at all, but it did read like a filler, so I'm bumping it down to a 4-star read. Still super fun, still glad I picked up this book and started reading it with my husband. All right, now let's talk about the book that this whole vlog is dedicated to, and this is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I spoke previously saying that this is probably a 5-star read for me, and it still is a 5-star read for me with a 3.5 spice rating. This book is super spicy, and it's heavily on physical attraction first, and then there is just like a little bit of subplot. It really just read like a romance erotica, as Ali Hazelwood said in the beginning preface. So if you came into this and pre-ordered this book because you were hoping for some cute, giggling, screaming kind of book, this was not it. This was definitely not it. It definitely would have been a 3-star read for me if that's what I was expecting. Honestly, if you didn't tell me who wrote this book, I would not have been able to guess that it was Ali Hazelwood at all, because of the amount of spice she wrote and how the plot flowed and the character development that we got. It just did not read like a previous Ali Hazelwood book. And that's why I think there are a lot of mixed reviews for this book on Goodreads. Honestly, if you're going in expecting the kicking, screaming, giggling, cute moments that Love Hypothesis and Love Theoretically has, you are not going to get it in this book. Absolutely not. This is physical attraction first, and then there is some minor plot, and the plot is kind of unoriginal. I gotta be really honest, it's predictable. It's not anything interesting. You're mainly there for the smut and the banter, and that's what this book is about. Honestly, I really enjoyed it because it was kind of like a mindless read. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed it, so I'm giving it 5 stars, especially given that the previous books I've been reading in the past 2 weeks or so didn't really have a lot of romance first, and honestly I was craving some of that. So Ali Hazelwood was the perfect choice for this week. I felt like if I were to read this on a week, like let's say I just finished the Anna Huang King of Sloth, or if I just finished Skin of a Sinner and I picked this up, I don't think I would have given it 5 stars. I gotta be real honest, I don't think it would have been a 5 stars if I came in expecting something fluff and something cute. However, that was not the case here, so I'm giving it 5 stars. I do know that it's not without its flaws. However, for vibes and vibes only, I'm here for it. So 5 stars for me. Okay, I'm a little cuckooed out because it's almost 2:30 at this point, and I don't even know what I said in the past like 30 minutes or so, but I'm just gonna quickly wrap up with the last manhwa that I read, but it is not a completed manhwa, it's an ongoing manhwa. I don't know how I'm gonna include like ongoing series that I've been reading into these because I do follow some that aren't completed, but I think I'm just gonna briefly mention them in my vlogs because they don't really get the spotlight that they deserve just because I don't mention anything that's not completed in my monthly wrap up. So here's the manhwa that I just started reading, which is, I don't know what it is. Let me look it up. Okay, that manhwa is called I Swear We're Just Friends. And honestly, it's kind of refreshing because there's no villainous or reincarnation trope in this. It's just a cute romance, dormitory, noble, historical kind of manhwa. And I'm really enjoying it. The male lead is like one of those cats who is super cute to the female lead, crying, puppy face, all that good stuff. And then he's like the devil when she's not around. So I'm really enjoying it. I think it's right now. I mean, I've only read like 30 chapters or so. So it's currently a 5-star read for me. Hopefully the plot isn't going to get too chaotic, but I do know they have a novel, so I might pick it up. But also I need to finish all the reads that I have on my TBRs. All right, speaking of TBR, I'm sure you guys have seen in my video, I made a TBR board game. It is now in the back of my head, or I guess when I'm looking at my computer, it's hanging over there. That's my little game board. And along with that, I made a little game cards to go along with it. Basically, these just have about 50 random prompts of books that I enjoy reading. It was upside down. You know what? I'm not even gonna bother because my camera does not like to focus on anything that is not a face, and I'm too tired to make it to focus. Okay, so I'm really excited to do the TBR game for the month of July. However, I realized that I'm a really big mood reader, and it affects how I rate my books. Like I talked about it with Not in Love, right? So if I wasn't in the mood for it, it would have been really bad. I don't know how TBR is gonna go. I'm just gonna give it like a couple of months, test out the water, see what I like, see what I don't. Actually, looking back on it, my month hasn't been that bad. I think I tackled a good amount of books in my June TBR, so not too worried. Even though Villains Are Destined to Die did take up like basically a whole week's worth of reading, but we still have 2 weeks left. I do think that I should be able to get through at least, I'm looking over there, King of Sloth and Funny Story. Fingers crossed. And with that, I think I should probably end this video before I get anyone delirious, since this was probably my 4th or 5th attempt on wrapping up this video. So thank you so much for watching this video. It's probably like 40-50 minutes long at this point. So I really appreciate you guys sticking all the way through. And if you guys like vlogish content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!